Hello student, today we are going to learn Chapter 8 of Supplementary book, A Pact with the Sun. This story has been written by Dr. Zakir Hussain. Dr. Zakir Hussain Khan, the author of the story, A Pact with the Sun, was a writer, an economist, and a politician. He served as the third President of India from 13th May 1967 until his death on 3rd May 1969. He was also the first Muslim President of India and also the first President to be died while still holding the position of President. A Pact with the Sun, Chapter 8. Saida's mother had not received proper medical treatment for her complaints. She is denied healthy food, sunshine, and fresh air. At last, she consults a good physician who gives her effective medicine and sound advice. So let's see how she is cured. Saida's mother had been ailing for a long time: fever, cough, body ache, painful joints, and whatnot. It means Saida's mother was sick from long time and she was having fever, cough, body ache, painful joints, and all sorts of sickness. Treated by a variety of physicians for weeks, she often showed signs of improvement but soon relapsed into her old sick self, one complaint substituted by another. It means she was treated by a variety of physicians because she was often sick, so many physicians came and treated her. But first, whenever she used to get the medicine, she showed that she is improving, but slowly she was going back to her old sickness. There was no signs of cure. Though weak and colorless, she was forbidden normal food and was under strict orders to remain perpetually confined to her small, dingy room with doors and windows fastened, deprived of sunshine and fresh air. So she was advised by various physicians that she has to remain inside the room, a room which has no doors and windows open. She should not eat proper normal food. She should not take fresh air. She has to be away from everyone in a dark room. Then only she can be cured. When she became critical, her relatives and neighbors persuaded her to consult a specialist even though his fees was likely to be high. So lastly, when nothing was working on her, then all the relatives came, even the neighbors, and they insisted them to consult a specialist. A specialist is the person who has a well knowledge of particular sickness. Life is more precious than money, they said. Saida's mother was poor, but she heeded their advice and sold a few trinkets to pay the doctor's fees and the cost of medicine. So, to consult a specialist, she was not having enough money. So, what relatives advise that life is more important than the money. So, what she did, she sold a few of the things of her house in order to pay doctor's fees. The doctor came in a few days and examined her and prescribed effective and costly medicines. So a specialist had come, and after that he examined her. He prescribed, it means he wrote the effective medicines, and those medicines were very costly. To the question as to what she should eat, he said, "Anything you wish to eat. Chapatis, vegetables, milk, fruits, etc. In addition to all this, he added emphatically, leave this dark hovel and occupy a bigger room with doors and windows open. Sit in the sun every morning from 8 to 9. Sunshine and fresh air, he concluded, are more important than medicine. So the specialist advised that eat everything, whatever she wants, but upon that she has to leave this dark room and she has to arrange herself in a bigger room where the doors and windows are open, and she has to sit at least 1 hour from 8 to 9 in the sunshine, and she has to take fresh air so that she may be the medicine may work properly on her. The doctor and his advice became a subject of noise commentary among all present. So everyone, when doctor advised that she has to be sit in bigger room and take sunshine, fresh air, all started making noise because everyone has restricted her not to come out of her room. Some favored while others opposed. Some liked the idea of the specialist, but the other hand, some were opposing. Oh, it is not, she should not mix with everyone. She has to remain separate. Exposure to sun and air for someone affected with chronic cough was dangerous, an experienced lady declared. So one of the ladies, she said that if she comes out of the room and sits in an open area, she may get more cough and cold, and that could cause her more, increase her sickness. So she should not come out. A younger neighbor nearly quarreled with her over this, too exhausted to participate in the debate. So this kind of debate was going on, that some were opposing her, some were agreeing with the doctor. Saida's mother remained quiet but determined to follow the doctor's advice. Forget the consequences, she said at last. I'll carry out his instructions to the letter. Move my bed into the next room and let me sit in the sun on my charpai for an hour daily. So she stopped everyone and she said, I will follow doctor's advice and I will shift my room, my bed or my charpai into the next room, and I'll sit daily in the sun. Now in the second part of the story, what happens? After the advice of the doctor, the sky remains overcast with clouds for a few days. So doctor has consulted that she has to sit under sun, but here opposite happened. The sky was covered with clouds. Saida makes a special request to sun rays to help her mother get well. The sun rays keep their word, come down in large numbers and give new life to Saida's mother. So these three important points will come and we will see in the second part of the story. It so happened that the sky remained overcast next morning. The same was the case the following day. So doctor's advice was to sit in the sun, but here next day onwards the sky was covered with clouds and there was no sunshine. Saida's mother was dejected. She was sad. She muttered, and with that sadness she prayed, O Lord of mine, why have you ordered the sun to remain hidden? How will I ever be cured? So she prayed to God that if you are hidden, then how am I going to cure? So Saida was playing with her doll nearby and she heard her mother's lament, but kept calm. Saida, a small girl, was playing nearby with her doll, and when her mother was praying to God, she was listening. Mother's lament means a loud cry, deep cry of sorrow. She was listening calmly. Later in the afternoon, when she stumbled on a spot of pale sunshine in the courtyard, she ran to her mother to say the sun was there. So in the evening, when very faint light of sun rays was appearing in the courtyard, she was feeling so happy and she ran and said to her mother, "Come and see, there is sun." "No, no," said everybody present. "It's too late and chilly. Your mother can't sit out there." Because it was evening and it was very pale light. So everybody stopped her mother not to come out of the room because it was very chilly outside. Disheartened, Saida returned to her doll. There was no sun really, except for its last remnant entangled in the top branches of the family mango tree. Yes, it was true that it was not a sun rays. It was pale light of the sun, which was remained light of the sunset, which was coming from the mango tree in the courtyard. Now, children have at their command a secret language. See, every child has a secret language to speak with the nature. So, Saida also did the same. A foreign to grown-ups altogether, in which they fluently communicate with trees, flowers, animals, and sun and the moon, perhaps even with the Almighty. So every child has a special language which they speak to the nature, and they can communicate their wish, their thoughts to the trees, flowers, animals, and sun and moon. And sometimes they can speak directly to God, and that language is always heard by God. Using that special language, Saida addressed her remark to the last departing ray of the sun. As the sun was setting down, what she did, she prayed to the sunlight. "Dearest sister, do come tomorrow with lots of warmth and brightness. You see, my mother is ill and needs your help." What she prayed? She prayed to the last ray of the sun, that dearest sister. Why she is calling her sister? Because she was, with love, she was calling her sister. Do come tomorrow with lots of warmth and brightness, because that was very faint light. So she said, when you come tomorrow, you should have more warmth, more brightness. You see, my mother is ill, and she says the problem that her mother is ill and she needs her. "Surely," answered the light. "Don't look unhappy. We'll be here at the fixed hour." Next day, early in the morning, when the sprinkly sun rays embellished themselves for their journey down the earth, the sun said. Okay, so next morning when all the rays were coming down on their journey, the sun said, what the sun said? "It's our day off again. We are staying up here. The road to the earth is blocked by an army of thick, musky clouds." So sun stopped them. "See, we have to stay here again because our way to the earth is blocked by the musky clouds." It means wet clouds, thick clouds, and you can't reach to the ground, to the earth. The road to the earth is blocked by an army of thick, musky clouds. The little rays so much wanted to go down for a lark out their remark remained quiet. One of them, though, who had made a pact with little Saida, said, "Okay, here. See here, sun wanted to stop them, to make them remain there, but the little rays so much wanted to go down for a lark, but they remained quiet. But they wanted to go down, but they quiet. One of them, though, who made a pact with Saida, said." Pact means promise. One of the ray has promised Saida that she will come in the morning with warmth and brightness. She said to sun, "Sir, I can't stay back. I have given my word to Saida, whose mother is ill and needs our help." So one of the ray who has promised to Saida said, Sir is here, son. That she can't stay there. She has to keep up her promise which she has made with Saida in order to cure her mother because her mother is ill. I'll pierce through the clouds to reach Saida's courtyard. What she's saying, she will break through all the clouds and she will reach to Saida's courtyard. How else will her mother be cured? If I won't reach there, how her mother will be cured? She will be sick again. Hearing this, all the rays near staged a revolt against father's son. So when that ray said, all the other rays also started encouraging her, and they started revolting. Revolting means they started opposing the son, the father, their father. And what they said? Fancy staying back again, they said in a single voice. It's very fancy. It's not to stay over here. What will the people of the earth say about us? That we of the heavens have turned liars. So they said in a one voice that people of the earth will say us liar if we don't keep up our promise. The sun relented. The sun relented. Please yourselves, he said. Mind your clothes, though the clouds are musky. So he said, cover up your clothes. And because the clouds are very much, they are wet and they will make you wet. Never mind our clothes. We don't mind about our clothes, even though they get wet. We can always change, but go we must. So it is that we can change our clothes anytime, but it is important that we must go. And the race rushed towards the earth. The clouds stood guard between them and Saida's courtyard. So all the clouds were gathered together on Saida's courtyard, and these rays, they started their journey towards the earth together. The little rays focused their heat, and they had enough of it. All the rays came together with their force and with their full heat, which that was enough. On a battalion of clouds which had to flee from the sports. So with force, when they came on the battalion of clouds, it means with all the clouds together. Here battalions used all the clouds together which had to flee its post. It means they have to go apart when all the rays were coming down. The rays got through, shooting past the wildered clouds. They were already late. So all the clouds wanted to stop, but it was quite late because all the rays has already reached to Saida's courtyard. Saida saw the whole host of them approaching, and her heart leaped with joy. She shouted, Amma, Amma, the sun is here, come out. The old lady's eyes welled up, and the tears of gratitude. Her charpai was placed in the courtyard, and she sat on it for an hour, reclining against bolsters. So when Saida saw that all the rays were coming down, and she ran, and with happiness she called out her mother, and her mother tears rolled down on her cheeks. Those tears were of gratitude. It had been months since she had felt the sun on her hands and face and breathed in fresh air. For many long back she has sat in sunlight, and now she was feeling the warmth of sun rays on her hands and face, and she was breathing fresh air. She thought she was in a new world. Though pale, her face glowed, her eyes shone bright. She was very weak. Now she was feeling she was in the new world, because after a long time she was experiencing the sun rays on her face and hands, and she was inhaling fresh air. Now she was feeling she's in the new world, and her pale face was glowing and her eyes were bright with happiness. She saw her child too bathe in sunlight and kissed her. She could see her child, she was playing in the sun, and with that happiness, with joy, she kissed her child. The morning air brought in a new fragrance from nearby flowers. So fresh air was bringing fragrance of flowers from nearby. The birds chanted a new tune. Saida's mother felt better already. So she could hear the chirping of the birds, chanting of birds, and she felt better already. She is fully recovered now, but still follows the doctor's advice, an hour of sunlight and lungfuls of fresh air every day. Now she was recovering day by day, and now she was following all doctor's advice. She was sitting in the sunlight for an hour and she was breathing fresh air daily. I hope you like this story. Thank you and have a nice day.